It is September 28th, 2 days before bow season here in Ohio. I'm out at the farm today to check cameras and freshen scrapes before this weekend. As of right now, I don't have a target buck. This is actually the first year out of the 5 years that I've been hunting this farm where I have not had a target buck show up on camera before opening day. So I'm kind of just playing it by ear, and I know there are specific deer that move onto the farm as the season gets closer to the rut, and generally they'll stay on the property throughout the rest of the season. So I'm kind of just playing it by ear and going with how the season flows. I set up on the soybean field because it's one of the only green food sources in the area. And with the circumstances of today being so hot, I decided to set up in here. And my guess was right. I've already got a young 1.5-year-old buck and a doe in here. And it's about 6:45. So I have about another hour for more deer to start showing up. Overall, not a horrible sit. We saw 2 deer. One was a buck, so that's a positive. It's always a good thing to see a buck on opening day, even if it is just a smaller deer. Hopefully the rest of the season kind of picks up from here, and this is a good baseline. It's October 6th, and we just had a huge cold front move through to the point where it was 80 degrees on Tuesday, and today it is 60 degrees. Still nothing mature showing up on cameras, nothing really at all in terms of deer. We're getting quite a few coyote pictures and stuff, but other than that, nothing. Cameras have been pretty dead, to be honest with you. I'm kind of hoping this cold front moves some deer around though. It's getting to that time of year where deer are going to start moving more to their rut range and stuff, so just got to be out here and be ready for them when they do show up. We've got the food and stuff for them, and a lot of the soybean fields and stuff are starting to die, except ours is still green somehow. But we've also got corn and oats and everything else too for the deer, so hopefully they find it and start coming here. It is 10 a.m. so I'm gonna get down. I didn't see a single deer this morning in person other than walking in. This spot's kind of hit or miss right for some reason this year. Last year I had a ton of bucks and stuff moving in here early season all the way throughout the end of the season. Anyways, I'm gonna head down and get home. I'm gonna probably come out tonight, sit over the soybeans or something. We'll see. It is the evening of October 6th, and I am set up on the soybean field that I set up on opening day. There's been a lot of deer movement on the trail cameras and stuff the last 2 hours or so, so I decided to set up in this field again because it got warmer than expected today, and I want to see if these deer hit the green food source. So far, as I was setting up the sticks and stands and stuff, I had a small spike run through the field already. is the evening of October 7th, and I'm set up on the soybean field again. Last night I had a bachelor group of bucks, just young deer, but they came in about 20 yards from me. As I was waiting for them to clear out of the field, I had a big-bodied deer come out. It was too dark to be able to tell what it was. All I could see was the silhouette of the body, and it looked like it had antlers, but I couldn't tell. I got in here about 3 o'clock today to try and beat the deer, because the deer have been lighting up my cameras inside the woods today. So far I haven't seen anything, but I'm sure I will as it gets closer to dark. I just had a buck there in the field. He's following the trail of 2 does that walked in a couple minutes ago. I just got up in the stand probably 30 minutes ago. I got up pretty late. It's about 6:45 right now. I was checking cameras and replacing batteries, and that's why I'm so late. This chipmunk has been chirping away ever since I got in here. It's so annoying. It is October 9th today, and I've been getting a ton of deer activity throughout the last 24 hours. I had a couple new bucks show up on camera. Still none that were shooters that I know of. One of my Tacticams has a buck that looked pretty big based on the picture, but I'm gonna go check that camera right now and replace the batteries and stuff in it and kind of see what this deer scale is. It's October 9th and it's about 5:30. I'm getting to stand a little late, but after checking cameras this afternoon in between classes, I decided it was time to get in the tree as much as possible. As I was checking, I found a large cluster of scrapes in the field next to us, and on a camera nearby there, I had a very old mature 8-pointer with split brow tines show up. I suspect that the deer is 5.5 to 6.5. I've had 3 years of history with him, and he was mature then. But he showed up in a spot that I had never seen him. And he was hanging out with a bachelor group of bucks that have been coming out in the soybean field every night for the past week. So I'm hoping that he's with them. We're still feeling the effects of this cold front that's moved through over the weekend. It's about 50 degrees right now. And deer have been lighting up the cameras for the last 4 or 5 days. It's not even 6:30 yet, and there's already deer in the field. So I'm hoping tonight's gonna be a good night. bucks just showed up. How many forks do we have on this property? So right now we have 5 fork bucks in the field along with a 9-point. I just had a big buck show up on camera. In the field next to this one. I'm not sure where he's going, but he's at his scrape right now in the woods. And he's about 50 yards in from that field. I don't know what I'm gonna do here because I have to go through that field to get back to my car. So tonight I am set up in between 3 fields. The soybean field, the middle field, and then the farmer's clover field, which is behind me. The farmer last year and this year was kind enough to let me hunt the property line. And tonight is mostly more of a observation set. I want to kind of gather some intel on what these bucks are doing outside of that clover field. My number 2 shooter, the 7-point, just walked out about 80 yards away. So I just got back to the car after a really cool sit. I actually had my number 2 shooter show up at 80 yards behind some brush. I think I'm starting to put the pieces together on him. He's definitely the most consistent out of the 2 shooters that I'm after this year. And what I did was, when I got down from the stand, I actually set up another stand. And so what I'm going to do is tomorrow, I'm going to set up in that stand, and it should give me a clear 20-yard shot away from where the deer was tonight. So I'm hoping that tomorrow morning everything goes perfectly just like it did tonight, and hopefully I have a deer on the ground tomorrow. Morning of October 15th. Both of my shooters are in the area. My number 2 seems to be more patternable and seems to be liking this area a lot more. They're both in this area, but my number 2 seems more consistent. So I just got back to the car and I saw no deer this morning. As I was walking out, I saw 4 jakes, but other than that, this morning was pretty quiet. Alright, so I just got back from my flights and it's about 6 o'clock now. I am 20 yards from where my number 2 showed up last night, and the weather is pretty much the same. So I'm kind of on edge. I'm wondering if he's going to follow the same pattern with the specific weather that we're having, which I hope he does. It is October 16th, and I just got finished setting up the stand and stuff. I've had deer in here all day based on the camera and stuff, and last night my number 1, the split brow, showed up about an hour after shooting light, and my number 2 has been in front of the stand pretty much the whole night. It was like every hour he'd show up, and so I got in the stand early today, and I've already had 2 bucks show up. They were both young. But I'm hoping that with this weather and stuff, it pushes either buck out early. I was torn between this stand and the soybeans, because the soybeans are only about 200 yards away, because both deer looked like they were coming from the soybeans. But I've also had history where my number 2 shows up in daylight on this tractor path. So I decided that I'm going to just stick to one spot, and eventually these deer are going to slip. It's about 6:45, and the deer are definitely moving. I've had 3 bucks right in front of me, and then I've got 4 or 5 does about 150 yards away with a small fork buck. My wind's not very good, but with these deer out, I can't really get down. My hope is that these bucks come from my left, because if that's the case, they won't get my scent. So I just got back to the car. Saw a lot of young deer, quite a few does as well, but they didn't come in to shooting range. I'm kind of shocked though that neither of the 2 bucks showed up, especially with how consistent they were throughout the night last night. But I suspect within the next 10 days or so, the deer activity is really going to start picking up because of the pre-rut. And I'm just going to keep hunting as hard as I can, and hopefully one day they are going to make a slip, and hopefully I'll capitalize on it. Alright, here's an update. I just got done recording this last clip, and I get a notification on my phone, and of course, about 20 minutes after shooting light, my number 2 deer is under the stand right now. It's about 20 minutes after shooting light, and he's just looking right at the camera like I can't do anything. So I'm gonna get back in the stand tomorrow morning, hopefully. If not tomorrow morning, I'm gonna be there in the evening, and hopefully he slips up. I'm gonna keep hunting this deer as hard as I can until he does. So hopefully it all works out tomorrow. I was kind of expecting it to be tonight, just based on the weather and stuff, but hopefully he slips up here soon and I can get a deer on the ground. Alright, so I just got up in the stand. I had to move the stand from where I've been sitting the last few days. Today we've got a west wind, and the last few days we've had an east wind, which that stand was set up for. And today we've got it set up for a west wind. Last night we had the big 7-point show up literally 20 minutes after shooting light. I opened the car door and got the Tacticam notification, and now we're here. Hopefully he shows up. This tree's kind of awkward. I've got a big limb right here in front of me that I think is going to make it tough for a shot. But hopefully he comes out. The weather's really calm right now, so I don't know what to expect with this. Well, it's October 18th, and I'm set up in the same spot as I was yesterday. Last night, the 2 bucks both came in pretty much right after dark, and so we have another change in weather. It's a little warmer today, but I had deer moving around 11 o'clock and stuff. It's definitely starting to get to that pre-rut stage in the season. You know, with last year I was having deer chasing and stuff, and they're still hitting scrapes and everything. So right now I'm pretty much just keying in on pinch points and trying to figure out where these deer are coming from right after dark and where they're bedded at. They're really close with being in here within 30 minutes of shooting light, both in the morning and the evening. But I'm hoping one of these days it's gonna come through and everything comes together and we get a deer in the ground. Dad is 200 yards in front of me at this angle. He's sitting in soybeans in a ground blind. The split brow 8-point has been walking past that blind the last several days and working his way over here. So hopefully Dad cuts him off on his way over. When I was coming back from helping Dad set up the blind, I had 2 does already out in this field. So hopefully that means the deer are going to start moving early. I know I just jinxed myself saying that, but there's always that possibility. You just never know at this time of year when things are going to start heating up and stuff. It is October 19th, and I'm doing kind of an observation sit today. Based on the cameras the last few days, it's kind of led me to think that 7-point is bedded somewhere behind me within this marsh. And we're only about 100 yards away from the stand that I've been set up in the last few days. And the deer has been showing up anywhere in between 15 minutes after shooting light to an hour. And so I'm hoping that tonight we can kind of get a read on where he's coming from, and maybe tonight or tomorrow we can get an arrow in him. I've got to hurry up though, because in 2 days is the waterfowl season opener, and the farmer likes to hunt this marsh behind me. So I've got to get it done here soon. Hopefully it all turns out. It's October 20th, and the 7-point is about 100 yards away from me right now. I walked in late today because I was waiting for my dad to show up, and I wasn't even going to go out tonight. But he talked me into hunting, and as I was walking in, he was under my stand at a scrape, and he's walking in right now. He was at my stand making a scrape, and a few does were to my left, and they caught my movement, and they blew, and he ran with them. He's walking in right now. Oh my God. Dude. Dude, he is dead. He died literally in 3 seconds. Oh my God. That was a 40-yard shot. That was the longest shot I've ever taken on a whitetail. But oh my God, I am shaking so much. Oh my God. Oh my God, he is dead right there. That is the fastest I have ever killed a deer. He didn't go 20 yards. Oh my God, dude. But what's crazy is, tonight as I was walking into the stand, I had to go get this platform from the stand that I had set up a couple nights ago. And so I was late. It was about 5:30 when I went to get the stand. And as I was coming through, I saw him on a scrape, and 2 does were out in the field as well. But so I crept in trying to put a stalk on him because there's a bunch of briars and stuff, but I had enough space shooting lane, or enough space to shoot. And of course there were does to my left, downwind of me, that I did not see. They were hiding in the brush, and they blew, and the whole field cleared. But what I did was I have permission to walk on this part of the farmer's property, so I snuck around behind all the brush and stuff on his property and snuck in behind this tree so they couldn't see me enter the field. I had this feeling that he was gonna come out again, but little did I know he was gonna come in that quick. I quickly got set up, got the camera. I gotta make some phone calls. I'm ready to get my hands on this deer.
Oh yes sir, there we go. I see the Luminoc.
Well, he's literally 30 yards beyond that. A doe's walking right next to the arrow right now.
Okay.
She doesn't even know I'm here. Oh yeah, that blood. That's pretty red. Nice. I can't ask for a better shot. He was at 40 yards and I heart punched him, which is always good. He was dead within seconds. But truly a beautiful deer. I think he's 4 years old, 4 or 5 years old. Had him on camera a lot last year, and then this summer nothing until August or October. But just a beautiful deer.